Oh man, the chat. The
chat's on fire early. Not in a
fire
good
as
way.
in they have some hot takes.
Actually burning itself to the ground.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into the Losers Lounge. Take a deep breath, exhale. By the end of segment 1, hopefully we can all collectively move on from this.
Oh, I'm not going to move on. I'm hoping to melt down entirely.
You know what? Yeah, well, let's melt down and then we can build back up. This game tonight, as the Nuggets fall to the Memphis Grizzlies on the road, kind of felt like a Broncos game.
Oh, man. Broncos catching more strays.
Nuggets suck. They can't score. It's boring. You're just like, oh, maybe this is the time they score. Like, nope.
They won yesterday, the Broncos, in boring fashion.
Well, okay, but half the time they don't.
We're down bad, bro. We don't need
down
this.
bad. All right, guys, we're presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't check your phones. Don't check the app. We had
It was a rough night for everyone.
A cold night for everyone. It's just cold across
cold
the
nights
board.
happen.
Cold nights do happen.
Yeah.
Harrison wins over here. He's icy.
It was also cold in the bar tonight.
I'm freezing. You guys were joking that I was going to do the show behind like a blanket like this.
Go buy a jacket from the merch store down
Can
below
I get away with this like for just a little while? I'm freezing in here.
Adam, no.
You're soft, Adam, is what you are. Soft.
We've been collectively using that word a lot. I won't tell you who we were talking about. Over here, freezing cold takes, Eric.
I'm quite warm. I have a light jacket on, but it's enough.
You're still buzzing from that pregame show segment.
Anytime that I get to spew venom about design, it makes me whole.
And then over here in the snowy sweater, it's Dev.
I mean, somebody came prepared.
You did come prepared.
You do look the warmest out of all of us.
Yeah, but honestly, that game was it was kind of like a Broncos game. Like, just no highs, kind of boring, small bit of hope, and then it just went bad.
The Nuggets were cold, man, and I mean that's the story of it. There's a lot of little takeaways we can have, but Bones Highland hits a 3 at the end, the last possession, to drag the Denver Nuggets up to 23.7% from 3 tonight, just 9 of 38. And like I said, a couple of those threes came at the end when garbage time was already over. They were 19-20% for most of the night. Harrison, what's your first takeaway?
Well, we can start with that, and it's kind of a symptom of what this Nuggets team has been about this year, at least on the offensive end of the floor. It's really just been a one-man team. It's really just been Nikola Jokic. So, talking about from an offensive perspective, kind of was tonight, 23 points. I mean, Aaron Gordon gave him 15, but outside of that, not much help. And the three-point shooting, it's been a huge problem. They shot, I think, 37% against Phoenix on opening night. They haven't shot above that since. They had a pretty good three-point shooting game in Utah. Other than that, they've been trash from the three-point line. Absolute trash. And there's a couple big reasons why, and they're pretty obvious. Michael Porter Jr. is ice cold from 3. There are a couple other guys who are ice cold from 3 too. JaMychal Green, even though he hit one tonight, has shot the 3-ball terribly this year. Jeff Green's been really, really cold. Aaron Gordon's been cold.
Aaron Gordon has been what he is.
Period. Guys have been up and down. So the big one's Porter, because you rely on him to be a 40+% guy on really high volume. But the three-point shooting all year has sucked. It just has.
Yeah. Dev?
My takeaway is that a couple weeks into the season, and we still have not found any zone rhythm, anything going for that second unit. And it's just kind of trickled into the first unit, too, because they're trying to throw guys in. They're trying to offset and put guys with the second unit to try to find some type of stoppage of the bleeding. And I just feel like unless you actually have a guy in that second unit that you could get yourself going and try to rally behind, you're going to have nights like this where Jokic isn't going to be able to play to his best because, I mean, you get tired. They played multiple games in a week. It just looked like they were tired this week or in this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like this is like the early part of the season. Like yesterday, we were like, Nuggets #1, and like today, we're like, this team is terrible. We got tear them apart.
I don't think anybody thinks the team's terrible. You're right that it is the ebbs and flows, but the cold shooting, that's the thing.
It's terrible.
That's the thing that's like, okay, there's the trend, maybe, perhaps.
It's not a trend. It's just what's happening right now.
Okay,
that's what I don't know. It's just early season stuff. Like every now and again. I mean, not every now and again. literally every year we go through this. Like early on in the season, we're like, what's going on with this team? Jokic is playing, no one else can play around him. And then like later on, we're like, oh man, this team's incredible. Yeah. So we're in the bad part right now.
Well, the Nuggets are 25th. Came into tonight 25th in 3-point percentage. So it is a bit of a season long trend. But to your point, 7 games in, 3 games of being hot from the 3-point line, you can kind of wildly swing up. But I think it really does come down to, when we talk about 3-point shooting, primarily Michael Porter. I mean, I don't know what the numbers say, but he's shooting so low right now that if you just gave him his averages, does Denver go from 25th to like 15th?
Probably.
Just single-handedly off of him
that.
because of how many he takes and because of how cold he's been. That's probably the takeaway to me is just the shooting. Like, I do think this is one of those games where it's like, hey, the ball didn't bounce their way, and they didn't do anything else to make up for it. We've seen some games where the shooting wasn't there or guys weren't there. It wasn't going easy. The Minnesota game, nobody could make a shot, but they gritted it out. Tonight, it was like none of that stuff really happened. Nobody played above themselves on the margins, really, including Jokic, by the way, on the margins to kind of lift him over that.
Just quickly, to me, it's like this game was lost with that bench unit in the third quarter when they like gave up not only a lead, but they ended up like getting down eventually what I think was the actual margin of loss, which is about 10.
Right.
And there was no staggering. It was just Will Barton on the court, along with just Los Dos Verdes, Facu.
Yeah.
And it was a mess. Like, no one could do anything. The offense was, I don't even know if you can call it stagnant. It was just nothing. Like, nobody was getting into the paint. It was ugly. It's that lineup that we always see that just is always terrible. And like every time it's terrible, like, man, I hope I never see that again.
But here, can I make a quick point though? Because this is part of it. We got the stagger tonight with Will Barton playing with him, and there was a couple other little mixers in, but the lineup you're talking about was that, and this is why I made such a point about Bones isn't going to save the lineup like this. Everybody wanted the stagger. Just keep one guy out there. I'm telling you, that bench has too many guys that I look at that I'm like, I don't know, man. That it's almost like you need a complete overhaul. You need multiple moves because tonight you still got into a ton of pick and pops, a ton of there was possessions. We were watching it today at the bar together, and I'm like, the ball is not going in the paint. We'd watch 2 or 3 possessions where the ball never even got inside the painted area. It just was all just passing around the perimeter, pick, pop, pass around, and it's tough.
Yeah. And that's why you actually probably have to give Michael Malone some credit because he has adjusted his bench.
Yeah.
Like, people are always like, oh, Malone's not going to change his rotation. Malone doesn't play this guy. Well, he went to a total stagger. He's playing Will Barton and Michael Porter Jr. with the bench.
Yeah.
It's not on him right now that bench group isn't working. Those guys just haven't played well. Will Barton hasn't played well these last couple games. Michael Porter Jr. hasn't played well the entire season. And yeah, that group just hasn't really fit together. Bones Highland's gotten out there these last couple games. Thought he's added a spark. There's been some really positive developments, I think. But he's going to be in the mix going forward. So I don't think this is like a Malone thing not playing the right guys. He doesn't really deserve the blame here. It's just that group can't figure it out. They can't figure out how to generate good looks.
The second storyline for me tonight would be the rebounding. Denver got out-rebounded 55-40 tonight. Jokic tonight, only 7 rebounds. This is why I said even he. Usually Jokic does so many things on the margins that it's like, hey, everybody can play terrible, but if Jokic plays well, it's like, okay, it's still 50-50, even against good teams. Tonight, he still put up the good stat line. I mean, 23.7 rebounds, 7 assists, still pretty good. He was 9 of 15, which is pretty great as well. He did go 2 of 6, so he led the team in three-pointers made. Not usually a good thing, but he didn't rebound tonight. And as a team, they didn't. And I thought one of the storylines for that was Memphis did a very good job. Jaren Jackson started 3 for 3 from 3, and I think that kind of spread out. That opened up the court a lot. But 2, they played a lot of 5-out basketball tonight. When Adams was on the court, he was in there, but when he wasn't, it was 5-out. Denver was stretched to the brim and just constantly rotating and giving up offensive rebounds.
Not only was it 5-out basketball, but it was the Nuggets offense was just out of whack from not making shots, but they continued to shoot those bad shots. If you look at just like the shot distribution, like guys are taking a lot of contested shots with not a guy in there rebounding. This was a night that Jokic wasn't grabbing every single rebound. So it was one shot on one end, and the other team, or Memphis, is just getting multiple shots while being 5-out, while having a guy that's just on Jokic the entire time, which you have to give credit to Steven Adams and Jaren Jackson, the way that they defended. But when you don't have shots going in and you're only like limited to one shot, you're gonna have a rough night, and that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
See, my overall feeling on this game is that they played with Memphis. They had the lead. They played well enough the entire time, except for that stretch.
Sure. But I mean, even in the stretches where they were even, there were still like some mistakes that were.
Yeah, but they did enough to overcome them. Like, I mean, truly, like if they had just been able to stay even during that terrible 2-3 minute stretch, like. You know, that's like it's at least coming down to where it's competitive at the end. It's not just like, all right, like what are we doing?
Didn't you feel like Nuggets were down 10, 5-6 minutes remaining? Nikola Jokic comes back in the game. It kind of felt like we were primed maybe for a Jokic takeover.
Oh,
down
totally.
The stretch.
Oh, yeah. I was
Didn't
ready
you have
for
that
it.
feeling?
Yep. Well, yeah.
And it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't get the ball as much as he should have.
I agree.
The offense wasn't really running that smoothly. They just didn't have it at the end. So I felt like they were in position even with how badly that bench played. But Jokic he didn't have that extra juice to close this game tonight.
Okay. Do you want to pull up King of the Game here before we hit our first break, Kale? It sounds like you have it ready to go. It's Jokic. Honestly, this is like a sad. Usually we say that King of the Game, like Jokic could win it every single night, but sometimes we grade on a curve. We still have to give it to Jokic, even though I think on a curve this was not one of his better games.
There's also one stat he had tonight that's not on there. He had 4 blocks tonight.
4 block shots. That actually could have gone
the
on there.
rim protector.
Rim protection still elite there for
It's
Jokic.
climbing.
It's a King of the Game because honestly nobody really stood out, and Jokic.
I know,
it's
dude.
just by far the best player. So
In a land of no kings, the kingish is the king. He's pretty good. And he
Wow.
became the
We'll
king.
try again
He's
tomorrow.
in
He
the
is-
world of blind men, the man with one eye is king.
wow, he is just so smooth with his so eloquent.
down.
Loquacious and eloquent. Let's hit our first break. We'll try to bring some more positive energy.
Yeah.
Some more positive energy on the other side.
Guys, make sure to pick up some Mile High City Copper Lager from Breck Brew this week. You know the beer, you know the can. It's got that Nuggets blue can with the Nuggets logo on it. Pick some up from your local liquor store. Pick some up from maybe your local grocery store. Most of them have it. If you're at the Breck Brew Farmhouse here in Littleton, pick some up there as well. Great beer for any occasion if you're watching a Nuggets game, if you're going to the park. Maybe you're going skiing. We're getting into ski season. It's getting a little cooler out, a little chilly. Mile High City Copper Lager is perfect for that as well. So make sure to pick some up today.
You going skiing, Dev?
Yeah, of course.
Cool.
I'm from Colorado.
Dev's
Take a
big
hot air
skier.
balloon up there.
Big
Hot
skier.
air balloon. Spaceships.
This weekend at DraftKings Sportsbook, guys. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, they've got you covered. New customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win their game. If they do, you win $200 in free bets. That's at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. You can also get in on same-game parlays. Football, basketball, NFL, NBA, they've got them in both of those. We always get in on those here for Nuggets games. It makes Broncos games a little more fun when you got a same-game parlay on that. So check out DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Use promo code DNVR. Bet just $5 on any NFL team to win their game and win $200 in free bets. If they win, you win with promo code DNVR this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older, Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
Let's try to get some silver linings before we go back to the dark clouds, because there are a few dark clouds else to get to. I've got one.
Okay.
This has been a growing thing. It'll probably be featured on the list at some point this week. The chemistry between Gordon and Jokic has really been strong this year, and it appears to be growing. And there was a couple moments tonight, both ways.
Yep.
Jokic to Gordon, Gordon to Jokic, that I'm like, those guys got a little connection going.
They are starting to click. They are starting to click together, especially with Aaron Gordon being like that defensive anchor, and then Jokic trusting in him, and now him being in help side. I think that their chemistry on the defensive end has opened up the offense, and also just him knowing how aggressive he is, and just his strength. That's been pretty good. But also just having a rim runner and a guy that he could throw it up to, that's been great lately.
Yeah.
There's that one play tonight
You in the
where
chat?
I'm in the chat. Well, I'm still listening.
Okay.
Do you want me to say?
So
Wait a second. There was that one play tonight where Yoke threw that little lob inside
Yes.
for Aaron Gordon.
The water
and he
polo.
had the one hand
Oh,
water
yeah.
polo catch, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh.
I'm telling you, remember earlier this year we said what would make the perfect highlight? This was off-season commentary. And one of the ones we landed on was if Michael Porter hits a Sombor shuffle.
That will never happen.
But I'm saying it would be cool. But Aaron Gordon hitting the water polo shot tonight kind of felt like that, where it was like, oh, one of Jokic's children,
Yeah.
you know? Like
That
it's
was
like,
cute. That was very
It was
cute.
very adorable. It was adorable.
cute.
I'm
That
telling you,
lighting was very silver.
my like personal approval rating or connection to Aaron Gordon skyrocketing this season.
Oh,
like
dude,
I liked Aaron Gordon.
Dude.
He is just a completely different guy and player than I thought he was before.
Adam
he
buying
came to
AG,
Denver,
buying
man.
silver.
Oh god.
He got the belly laugh out of Dev.
It was so
So
terrible.
dumb. How
So
do I host
terrible.
the show when I
I
have
have
to
no
look at
idea.
Eric? No, I'm serious though, man. Like I've really enjoyed him. You're right. His game is different.
I just thought he was honestly this empty calorie scorer, and that's what he wanted to do, and that's what he cared about, and that's the guy he wanted to be. And he comes here, and from day one, he's just like, I want to be the defensive glue that this team needs. I'm like, oh my god, this guy's incredible.
And cutting
It's
and
perfect.
even and just doing some of that stuff. I will say tonight he did hit 2 3-pointers, which feels somewhat miraculous since nobody else made any shots tonight. He goes, what did he go? 2 of 5. He did take the one at the very end. And look, the game was over. There was like 1 minute left. They're down 11 or something. And nobody was making any shots. But he took a forced one where you're kind of like, whatever. But, I mean, again, game was over. And technically, he was the most on fire tonight.
Is he king of the game?
He wasn't king of the game. Well, you wanted him just to give it to Jokic. I mean, I would have rather seen Jokic heave a half quarter than anybody else on the team take a regular set 3-pointer.
Here's a silver lining. Nikola Jokic still the best player in the league.
Facts.
Yeah, strong. Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Tonight, I don't think he was, but he is.
He is. He's still, even though he was like just normal tonight, he was great.
Yeah,
That's his normal.
The standard for Jokic.
He wasn't
so
good.
high.
He wasn't quite good enough though.
He was
Oh my
below
God.
his season average points, below his
Oh,
season
man,
average
what did he end up
rebounds,
with?
below his actually at his season average for assists.
Well, my silver lining, hopefully people don't come for me on this.
Oh God.
Just because it like right now he's down, but Michael Porter Jr. is like work on passing. Like he looks
Okay.
like a completely different passer this year.
Whoa.
It's a real
Especially-
squinting at the so we get the binoculars to find this
But
silver lining.
especially
Like, hold
as
on.
an entry passer, like him throwing it
He
over
did
the
have
top
that really
to
nice
Jokic,
one.
2 of them. But he also has been doing that out of shots and just trying to find like guys.
Actually, you know
in
what? That's a
different
good
ways.
one. That's a
So
good one.
that's something that I've like been watching, especially with him not making shots. It's been great to see him try to get himself going in different ways in the offense.
Here's another silver lining for you. This will be right up your alley.
Oh boy, I can't wait.
Bones Highland got some
What?
run, and here's the thing: I think Bones Highland tonight was like okay. He didn't play a ton of minutes. We talked about the rotation. I guess he got 16. I still feel like the way that they go to that bench unit first, and then Bones comes in later. I still feel like there's a little bit more blending. Like we're just kind of partial blending here, and I would like to blend a little more because, to your point, that terrible run tonight came
Awful.
with the all bench lineups. Like, come on, we don't have to keep going here. But that aside, Bones Highland tonight wasn't great, but I do feel like he got an introduction to the NBA moment tonight. Ja Morant at the end
Yes.
went at him and schooled him, and Bones he took it on the chin because he had to. There's nothing you can do. You go up against a player that's just better than you or whatever, and it's like you got to see it. So a silver lining, one, I think he still makes plays that are impressive, like drives to the basket. He still knocked down threes. He does things that are nice, but also it was in a weird way nice to see him get checked.
Yeah.
I would phrase it this way. I don't think what you described is nice. That was bad. The way I would describe it that is nice is that he did not back down ever.
Correct.
He
He got knocked down.
he got
but
the
didn't
Bane
back down.
train pushing on him.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and there's just
The
like
dumbest review ever. Like
it was.
Do you think
honestly, they were
the
just
officials
wasting
when they
everybody's
review
time.
because like there was like one of these? Do you think the officials were embarrassed when they when they
should-
saw
dude,
the replay and they're like, "What are we reviewing?"
And then they gave it a flagrant
And then
one.
they came up
to
like, "Hey,
embarrass
dude,
themselves
never
even
admit
more."
defeat.
Like this game's really getting out of hand. We got to settle
so
this
true.
down.
It's so true. Like
a couple double flagrant.
there needs
ones.
to be like 1 ounce of humility in the refereeing in the NBA where they get in, they're like, and they just get in, they're like, sorry.
Our bad. Wow.
I have no idea what
You
we're
guys,
doing.
it looked really bad at live speed.
Yeah.
And it was out of the corner of my eye.
But
I
now
didn't
that
see
we've
it
had
all.
a chance to review it, we're certainly not going to double down. We're going to use
Like
our
that
actual.
happened, and the ref ran in like it was Malice at the Palace 2.0.
So true, but Bones was like, I mean,
Yeah.
he has a nasty streak to him. I love it. Like he's not. I mean, you can tell like he grew up a certain way.
I think he likes competition, and like there's just guys that are about competition. And toughness is a big keyword, I would say, tonight. And we can kind of maybe segue into this. Bones, I think, does have a certain type of competitive toughness to him.
Oh yes,
Jokic obviously has like a stoic toughness to him, right? Like Jokic is also about it. I think Aaron Gordon even has a lot of that, toughness to him. Will Barton, of course, full.
Oh boy, I know where we're going with this.
The one of the things that this feels hot takey, especially coming off after a loss, so I apologize in advance. But one of the things we're noticing as we're watching the game, Michael Porter just doesn't always have the fight, and sometimes guys like he's skinny, he's tall and skinny. Sometimes maybe it just doesn't look this way, but I do feel like that's part of it for him. Like you've talked about, he's adding some rebounding, he's gotten some passing, like he's starting to do some of the other things. One thing I think he probably can focus on that's a little more abstract. Just the toughness aspect of it. It's a thing I think you can sort of like, hey, I've just got to be the toughest dude on the court tonight, and I don't care about anything else. And I feel like that's the next step for him, gaining some of that.
Yeah.
Do you wonder? I mean, I often wonder if the way that he is, which I think that anybody watching would agree, he plays soft often. Tonight he played very soft.
He's like a finesse player. He loves his jumper.
But it's like
some of this is
I always
just
wonder if there's like residual things in his head from having his body fail on him.
Oh,
And like he's doesn't want to go as hard as he can. Like
it's possible, of course.
because
I mean,
there's no earthly reason why he should be pushed around by any of the people that push him around. He's so
Right.
much bigger.
Right,
He's
right.
so much stronger. Like he's
Yeah.
just put together in a way that, as we've mentioned, is like the cornerstone of male form corner.
Right.
And yet somehow he just gets bullied all the time because he just
Yeah.
plays soft, and I don't know. Like to me, it makes sense that
he would be nervous because
I mean,
he's-
not like actively nervous, but like it. There's something in the back of your mind. It's like you got to make sure you're.
I think a guy with that type of size has just gotten off so long off of being taller than
Right.
everyone else. Because there was times that he like Ja was on him. Anyone else is going to make sure that they use their size to get past him or like at least demand it in the post. He's shooting fadeaway shots because he's like everyone else is thinking you're bigger than him, go score on him. He's thinking I'm taller than him, I could shoot over him. And that's just like where it's different with him and everyone else on the team. Everyone else is like physical, aggressive. He's finesse, tall. Just I want
Right.
to shoot over you type of thing. So I think it's just more so, and that's been his groundwork. That's what he's always worked on.
right.
Yeah. And it's becoming an issue now, and we're talking about it more now because he's not hitting shots.
Right, right.
If he
Right.
was shooting 40+% from three. Did you know Michael Porter Jr. shot 48% from the corners last year on like a lot of attempts?
Right, yeah.
On a lot of attempts.
Yeah,
over 100 attempts last year. He's
remember.
0 of 5 from the corners this
Wow.
year. He was 0 1
That's
tonight.
really low volume too, man.
0 of 5 through what? 7 games now?
Yeah,
Less than less than one corner three per game. Michael Porter Jr. is attempting, and that was a point of emphasis for the Nuggets coming into this season.
He is like not even setting up in the corner. Like other people, just because of the way that plays are structured, generally, like just go and hang out in the corner, wait, our shot ready. He's like drifting in, floating around. He's like lost, man.
Right.
He did get off to that start tonight where he wasn't
hit some
hitting from
shots.
three,
Mid-rangers.
but he was really getting going from the
Yeah.
mid-range, had a couple real nice
like
jumpers
old
coming
times.
off, Jokic dribble handoffs,
Yeah.
swishes. They look great. They were beautiful. It was the old Michael Porter Jr. And then the second half, he missed an early shot or two, and he was just done. Didn't want the ball after that.
We know that Michael Malone especially values that as well. Like if you could give Michael Malone a list, like let's be honest, what are your favorite values? Toughness, probably number one, and a
For Mike
specific
Malone,
type.
oh, for
Dude.
sure.
Like, it's
The
like-
number one thing with Malone is he in my foxhole?
Is he in my foxhole?
That
Yeah,
is
for
just
real.
so emblematic of what Malone's all about in terms of what he looks for in a player. And Michael Porter Jr., I don't think he's in Malone's foxhole.
Right.
Oh, no chance.
Yeah.
There's no chance he's in his fox.
But here's the thing, man. Like, I mean, this is what's great about sports, and it's what's great about the game of basketball. Will Barton say you could have a terrible game and you never know when you get a new opportunity. For Michael Porter, this is all part of the story for him. Like, this is a weakness. In my opinion, it's a weakness that he has. And it would be a great thing for him to focus on it. So clearly, people have challenged him, be better as a rebounder, be better at this. And, like, he has put an emphasis on him. But I do feel like it's like, hey, man, you just need to work on being, like, the tough. Like, things aren't going to work out for you. But look at Ja Morant. That guy just attacks.
Yep.
That guy's the toughest dude on the court all the time because he's just
Bones
like
Highland.
Bones Highland, too. They just are like, if I'm going down swinging, and you're going to have to knock me out because you're not going to TKO me. I'm not getting the 10 count. And I just think that's a mentality thing that maybe he can kind of latch on to.
I mean, some part of that is just inherent in who he is.
Sure.
But the one thing that I will say is that unlike years past, like, Malone is allowing him to play through it. Like, he's just like, I mean, mainly because we have no other chances.
I was gonna say.
No other opportunities, but, like, I don't know. Like, I mean, there's other people he could start cutting his minutes. I mean,
he has put him in to close a couple of these recent games where have been thinking, is Michael Porter going to close this game?
Yeah.
And he has.
Yeah. So, I think that, to his credit, I hope Michael Malone is just like, knows what we all think is there still. And it's just like, bro, you just got to find this, man. Keep shooting it. Like,
I'll bring up another point that I think is kind of interesting because he got the max contract this summer. Everybody knows it. Do you guys remember when Gary Harris, who hates doing media, Gary Harris of all players probably likes media the least. He's just very private, quiet guy. When he got that max, I was so impressed with him because win or lose, he became the face of the Nuggets. This was a little bit before Jokic was the best player, but Gary Harris was like, I got my big contract. I'm coming out to talk whatever happens. Michael Porter really hasn't talked a whole lot. He hasn't come for media availability a lot.
I think that's more of a COVID thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? It's the protocols. He can't do media.
No. When we used to be able to go into a locker room and talk to Gary Harris after every game. Now how it works is you request a couple guys, and if that request gets honored, then they come out.
But this is my point. You're right. You're right that it is different protocols now. But one of the things is Michael Porter's not the guy that goes out there, and
it's because he hasn't played well.
But this is my point. This is exactly what I'm saying. He's a max contract player. Max contract players have to face the media whether they play well or poorly. That's part of why you get paid the big bucks. And it's not just because the engine, you have, the media feeds in and this is why you make the money. I'm not even saying that. I'm saying as a duty to the team of hey, we lost tonight. Nobody played well.
Okay.
Face the music and be the representative of the team. You're the one that gets paid the money. And that's just a thing I've observed because you're right. We have requested a few times. It's like, hey, man, didn't play, have a great game tonight. We're not going to do it. It's like, I get that when you're on the rookie contract, but you're on the max now.
So you think Porter should be like, I don't care that I had a bad game. I should talk.
You're right. This is probably more of a Nuggets organization thing, but it also kind of hints at what I'm getting at here, which is that there is a maturation and a toughness that's required that, hey, you're a max player. When you play like absolute dog shit, you go to the podium, you tell everybody you played like dog shit. The dumbass reporters ask all their annoying questions of you, and you face the music.
Yep.
And that's part of the maturation process, and it's just being bypassed a little bit. It's only 7 games in. I'm just saying it's a thing I noticed.
There is something to that because, Yoke's going to talk after every game. If he has a bad game, he's going to talk.
And he hates it.
And Michael Porter Jr., he should be the second
guy,
leader, or the second guy,
default guy. It's just like one of Porter Yoke every time, and you guys can take turns.
It's tough though because go ahead, Dev.
I was gonna say I was going with Harrison beforehand on the COVID thing,
right?
Not in the fact that people are not in front of it, but maybe it's avoiding the vaccination questions. Maybe it's just not wanting to be a part of it. Because I feel like him not being a part of the team while being a part of the team is a big portion of it.
Right.
And he doesn't want to address that, or maybe he does and they don't want him to address that or whatever the case may be. But I feel like it's not just because like you said, in any other market, they're just going to put him out there because they know that's who you're going to request. I know every game everyone's requesting MPJ.
Right.
But sometimes he doesn't have to say that. If you're with the Lakers, Anthony Davis can't say no.
Right.
They put him out there and he just has to talk.
It's one of the prices you pay for that contract, and it's like a very little price. Like it's a $209 million contract. Like it's a very, very little price that it's like, hey man, just the team, you have to be the face of our wins and our losses. It's any good leader, honestly. Like we've talked about this internally about like, hey man, when the times are good, the leadership gets all the credit. What great, geniuses, whatever this. But when things go bad, it's look how bad this is. And I'm just saying that.
I'm just going to push back a little because I think there's more nuance to it. Look, how to take everybody behind the curtain, how it works at a game. At Nuggets games, you request two players to talk with.
It used to be way more than that, by the way. If you went to the locker room, it was like 4, maybe.
Right now, at home games, we've been requesting 2 players to talk to. Usually Nikola Jokic, and then usually it's been the other guy who has a good game. If Will Barton has a 25-point game, you want to talk to Will Barton, even if Michael Porter Jr. has a bad game. If Aaron Gordon has a great defensive game on Luka Doncic, you're going to want to talk to Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
So it kind of gets...
there are a lot of layers to it.
Yeah, there are a lot of layers to it. I think that's a big reason why we haven't heard from him a lot.
But also, like, what do you want to hear from him? He just is like, I'm sorry, I suck. I can't figure it out. I can't make my shots. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Like, at a certain point, like, he's not adding to the victories. He's just like kind of out there.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to hear what he has to say. Like, I just
Really?
want him I just want him to make shots and like, what is he going to say?
I mean, I'm curious how he feels about the flow of the offense. I'm curious how he feels about where he's finding his
spots. He's not going
spots.
to give you real answers. He's just going to be like,
sure.
I'm just out there to do what Coach asks.
Yeah. I don't know. I just wanted to bring up as a little point because it is a thing that I've just noticed, even with Murray, even with Yoke, even with Gary Harris. It's like the big contract comes and those guys become the face of the team for better or worse. Good times or bad times, they become it. And you're right that a lot of this does have to do with just the nature of how the players are brought to the media now, but it just doesn't feel like he's the face of the Nuggets. Even in this, and it's
not
a
even
weird.
close.
Not even remotely close. I hear we have some super chats.
Oh,
Maybe on some better things than this. So let's get to it. Scott Carpenter. Oh wow, are you good?
An opened cardboard box with the word unboxing.
Oh hell yeah!
Scott Carpenter.
Hell yeah! Unboxing, baby. Woo! Want to run through a wall,
dude.
What's the Nugs shooting coach situation look like? This has killed us for years now. We're the only contender who seems to regularly shoot 25% from 3. Does someone need to get fired? Go ahead.
I mean, last season the Nuggets were the 8th best 3-point shooting team in the league. So it's just not true. I know it seems like that after losses.
Yeah, it does.
And like it does
Well,
seem
especially
like
when we shot like 0% today.
Right.
there are a lot of times like, oh my God, the Nuggets can't shoot they can't make anything from 3. And yeah, they were really bad from 3 in the playoffs at times when it was Facu and Austin Rivers playing most of the minutes at guard. But last year they were one of the better 3-point shooting teams in the league. This year they just haven't.
Yeah.
They've been awful.
I don't know. You're right. The statistics are what matter here, and it's just not. It's not accurate.
Who is the?
Do you remember when they
coach?
brought in Mark Price? He was only here for 1 year.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that there is this.
It was Mark Price to fix Mason Plumlee's free throws.
Yeah. I think there's this perception around because everybody like the NBA is just like your high school where you had the assistant that'd come tell you to keep your elbow tucked in and make a goose and reach for the cookie jar and hold it. It's not like these guys are NBA players.
There are like 2
man.
shooting coaches in the league, Fred Vinson in New Orleans and Chip
San
England
Antonio,
in San Antonio, who are the renowned shooting coaches in the league.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't think there's really many.
And most of these guys have like the shooting coaches. These guys all work with the players,
right.
but I don't
most
think
of their shooting coaches are their trainers that they work with throughout the season and summer.
Still a good question, though. Still a good question. What else we got? Jokic going out of his way to shake all of the Grizzlies' hands before a back-to-back is true King MVP shit. I don't know if I'm the only one who cares about this stuff, but shows his leadership.
I care about it. I think it's cool. I love it.
Shaking hands after the game?
Yeah.
I think it also shows just like you respect them and what they did to you that day. There's no reason to pout. Like it's it's basketball at the end of the day. And also you already know he's an ultimate competitor, so he's gonna bring it no matter what.
Yeah.
It'd be great if that's what he was doing.
Yeah, but just setting the tone, like I'm gonna see y'all's ass on Wednesday.
Unless it's a rivalry game that's super chippy or a playoff game, shake hands, good game. You beat our ass, good job.
It's like
respect.
That's top human shit.
You know the Nuggets always lose game 1 of the playoff series. It's just like they got. Maybe that's what this was. Yoke's like, all right, I got all the notes.
Not tomorrow night, but Wednesday night.
Wednesday night. Just know we're gonna win because I took all the notes.
Yeah,
coming out big. Could be. Bones ate a Steven Adams screen and lived to tell the tale. Defense is still good at least. Tyus Jones had to go off for the Grizz to beat us. Partially true. Partially true, but He did take a big screen from Steven Adams and got up and
And
kept battling.
Steven Adams was never stopped at any point. It was a moving screen. I don't even know if it was a moving screen because he never stopped to make a screen. He's just a giant guy that ran into
running
bones.
screen.
Yeah, like
Walking
Smacked him,
screen.
though. It woke him up. It definitely woke him up. Tyus Jones shot the hell out of the ball today. Like
He did.
good open looks too. Like they just kept on getting second chance after second chance,
man.
and he's just wide open and moves without it. Like that's a. I'm not a Tyus Jones guy, but it was like great to see him just like be able to knock down shots. The Nuggets don't have.
I wish
that
you
right
were
now.
like proclaimed yourself as a Tyus Jones guy.
Tyus Jones is like Monte Morris.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
There's Monte Morris guys out there.
My favorite
Adam
part about
Promo
Tyus
at
Jones
Bleacher
he used to have a very pronounced widow's peak that he would shave.
Who?
But Tyus Jones, and it would grow back,
don't remember
and
this.
you would be able to see it. But now
Are
it
you a
looks as though
Tyus Jones guy?
I might be a little bit of a Tyus Jones guy. MPJ has the same thing where like we're not supposed to notice
MPJ
your
has
obvious
he has
widow's
the
peak.
Superman curl.
Well,
It's
no,
the
that's
Superman
different.
curl that comes down.
That comes down, but that's the top.
very different.
But he's got a widow's peak.
You guys ready for a hot take prediction that's going to come
Always.
true? And nobody will remember it?
Please.
Steven Adams is going to play with the Nuggets one year as a backup setter.
That'd be great, man.
It might be like 4 years from now, but he will be Jokic's backup at some point.
New
Okay.
all-star bodyguard.
I think those guys like each other. Yeah, Steven Adams could be one of Jokic's brothers.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Except for he's
might
like
be.
not violent enough.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He actually you know what Steven Adams seems like? He seems like the Jokic of his family. The young
Yeah.
one who has. Yeah, I bet he's got some brothers.
he
that
is
are also
one of
like,
12 kids or something.
That's what I'm
like
saying.
that.
Yeah, like they definitely have pulled knives on him before,
Yeah.
when he was a kid. All right, what else we got? Gotta think Nugs one more bad week away from trading Bull for a second rounder, thus clearing the spot for the 6-man. We break even on Bull, but the right player may save the bench. Could we get Gasol to return? I love the whole Gasol thing. Here's one thing about Gasol.
Which Gasol?
Mark Gasol.
I think he is retired.
He is retired. We get him to come
They're
out of
both
retirement.
retired.
I'll tell you what. I was kind of bummed Mark Gasol didn't want to come to Denver. I picture him liking Jokic and wanting to come here,
Yeah.
but it didn't happen. The one thing I will say is he does provide some things, obviously, just from his size, like athletically and his defense, this or that. Offensively, though, is it that different from what they're doing right now? He's not really
he is
inside.
a pick and pop guy.
Pick and pop guy. Like it's just he's a bigger JaMychal Green.
He's such a high IQ player, and
Yeah, he's
like
IQ.
what he provides defensively just changes the whole dynamic. So I think he would be a big addition, even
Yeah.
though that's
Yeah,
a
I mean,
big
it's-
hypothetical.
Yeah, like I mean, why don't we get Kevin Garnett
Yeah.
or Larry
Ooh.
Bird or any other player that's been retired?
Man, Larry Bird would be so good for this Nuggets team. Can you imagine? Jokic's backup. I look Bull for a second rounder. I mean, here's the thing: is we said this a lot, guys. I think they would trade Bull if that was a deal. If they could get the 59th, 60th pick, I think they would do it. As you mentioned, to clear a cap. At this moment, Bull makes real money. Denver made the decision to pay Bull an actual salary. I think in hopes that it'd be like, we believe in your talent. We're going to show you. Now you show us something, and then it just hasn't worked
Well, it's
out.
really
so.
working out with both MPJ and Bull. Great strategy.
A little rough. Why does the team go away from MPJ on handoffs or PNRs like Will and PJ? I think he will gain some rhythm on his shot if he did this more.
I kind of noticed this tonight a little bit, and I feel like the whole team sensed that Porter just didn't want that action. Like Porter didn't feel like he wanted the ball in the second half a lot, and I felt like guys just went away from him because they were like, this guy's
They Torrey Craig him.
he's not about it tonight. He's just not with it tonight. And I totally sensed that just watching the game.
I think a big part of it is the fact that like the ball handling. Those other guys are playmakers
Right.
and they're ball handlers. They have two options once they get it. If MPJ gets it, the whole offense is just bottled up right in front of the rim. Now they get to guard everything. There's no spacing. So I think a lot of that has to do with that. Also, it's just the same go-to move. He's just going to come off of it, pump fake, and then shoot over the next guy. It just seems easy. And then, like you said, he just stops going to it after a while. When his shot's not falling, he doesn't go like after it the exact same way. Guys are now just checking down. So I think
There's
that has
also
to
a
do
lot tonight where there's that action that they run where it's like MPJ and Will together, and then one of them cuts and one of them does the dribble handoff, and it was always MPJ cutting tonight. It was interesting.
Yeah. He does that a lot, though.
Yeah,
You're right.
But usually when he's feeling it, when he's hot, when he really wants that ball, he's gonna probably make the decision to come off the handoff. He just wasn't going to the ball.
I think Porter's confidence, we've talked about this, I think it's rattled, and it doesn't just manifest itself in missing wide open corner threes like he did tonight. It also manifests itself in that, should I come off this handoff or should I just cut through and get out the way? And I do think there's a little bit of that going on.
He is lost right now.
Yeah,
he's lost, man.
But again, tough players come through. Was it the saying, tough times don't last, tough players do?
No question. I just don't know that anybody thinks he's when he was getting considered for a max contract, as far as we're concerned, we weren't like, well, he's the toughest among us. He's earned it. It's like, no, he's a great shooter, and he's got a really high upside, and if he can continue on the trajectory that he's on, who knows what the limit is? And now it's like, what is he good at? What is he?
But what I'm saying is those things come back to you if you make it through this.
Almost
every player goes through these, and it's like
every player.
Can you come out the other side better because of it?
This
adversity, or does it kind of scar you in a way that it's like, oh man, kind of damaged goods
just
now,
like
or
nonstop
something.
the tower over and over.
It is
again.
honest to God, I'm not gonna lie, I have thought about the tower more than once. Where I'm like, well, it has to crumble. Maybe it's every year.
That's what I mean.
Keeps building a tower.
It's like a sand castle tower. You build it, the tide comes in, knocks it down, build it right back up.
I was once in
a relationship.
No.
No, Adam's never been in a relationship.
Yeah, I was in Nicaragua for Semana Santa.
What, bird watching?
Is a relationship?
No. But so for Semana Santa in this town called Leon, all the people from the town come out and they make these sand sculptures, and it's actually really gorgeous. It's like painted sand. Everybody buys it, and they make a really intricate designs. And they exist for about an hour. And then a parade comes and tramples them all.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a crazy little thing where it's it takes all day to make. You honor it for a minute, and then you trample it. I just think it's a cool thing. Anyway, that's MPJ basically. You have to, every year, build something beautiful.
The great part
trample
is,
it over.
Yeah, every year you can build something beautiful. Every day you can have a good game out of nowhere, and you can get his season back on the right foot.
Maybe we should do that.
2 nights.
Maybe we should do a celebration of MPJ where we build a beautiful sandcastle here at the bar, and then we kick it over.
We just trample it. It's like got to start over every game. All right, last one here before we hit a break. Don't know if you guys saw, but AG was pissed at the end of the game, like his fire. A little silver lining. Hey, I think Aaron Gordon's a competitor.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think it was genuine when he got to Denver, coming from Orlando, that he was like, "This is what I wanted. I want this stuff to matter." You lose that competitiveness. Think about all those games in Orlando. It didn't mean anything to him because it's like, man, we're eliminated by January. It sucks. Nothing to play for. I do imagine it's a hit of adrenaline to be like, wow, every game matters and we kick ass most of the time.
Aaron Gordon played 8 important games in 7 years in Orlando. The 2 times he made the playoffs. Those were the 8.
You might even interpret his frustration at the end of this game as he's the one guy that's like, I don't like losing. I did this all the time. I don't want to get used to this again.
Yeah.
And the other guys are like, hey, man, we're good. This loss isn't like Orlando losses. It's a process.
He's got a lot of fight. He got poked in the eye tonight, was questionable to return, came back at the end of the game. I liked it.
Poked in the eye hurts.
Yeah.
It's not a good one.
And you could actually see his eye on the sideline. He was questionable to return.
Some real bloodshot eyes.
They kept going across they're panning across the bench, and I'm like, good. Yeah, take the night off. Take the night off.
He almost did.
Yeah.
All right, Harrison, take us through.
Guys, we're now sponsored by Ball across the entire DNVR network, and people are what makes Ball special.
Okay.
People at every level come into work each day and give 100% to accomplish the goals at Ball.
You hear that, MPJ?
The Ball production techs are the front line in our can-making operation at Ball. They directly impact the volume of production we run, the quality of the production we run, and are integral to our operation. If you want to be a product technician at Ball, text Golden to 77222, or you can go to jobs.ball.com and search for Golden. They are hiring on their front line of the aluminum beverage can production process at Ball. They're offering a competitive $27.39 per hour wage with potential for increase at 6, 12, and 18 months. This is for their production technician position. Again, if you want more information, jobs.ball.com and search for Golden, or you can text Golden to 77222. What else we got here?
Such a pro when we have wind in the house for ad reads, unlike when Eric does them.
I enjoy when Eric does the man.
Everyone loves when I do the ad
actually.
reads, but again, not the people who probably don't love it are the sponsors.
Speaking of sponsors, Manscaped. Manscaped.com, guys. Go there right now. Use the code DNVR. Get 20% off. 20% off your order plus free shipping with the code DNVR at manscaped.com. You can pick up the Lawnmower 4.0 with the 7,000 RPM motor.
Oh, hell yeah.
A new multi-function on-off switch
Let's
that
get
can
it.
engage a travel lock. The 4,000K LED spotlight. It's also waterproof as well, so you can use it in the shower too.
Hell yes.
So go to manscaped.com, use the code DNVR, get 20% off plus free shipping. That's when you use the code DNVR at manscaped.com. Get 20% off plus free shipping. You can also get the Shed Travel Bag, $39 value when you buy that Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped. Finally, Green Mountain Dental Group, if you're looking for a dentist in the Denver area, go to Green Mountain Dental Group, schedule a cleaning, x-ray, and exam, get a free Sonicare toothbrush. The electric toothbrush that most dentists recommend, I know mine does. Green Mountain Dental Group, a lot of us here at DNVR, we go there, get our teeth cleaned, cavities filled, get our wisdom teeth pulled, everything. They do it all. Get a free Sonicare toothbrush when you schedule a cleaning, x-ray, and exam from Green Mountain Dental Group.
Amazing.
Speaking of Green Mountain Dental, I guess not really. I'm watching a video of some kid trick-or-treating in a little Hot Wheels, or whatever you call those things.
Did you have a good Halloween?
Man, I had a great one. So here's the thing. I told you guys that
First off, what was that segue? And
I thought we were getting I thought we were getting into a Halloween corner.
It was Halloween.
Were you going into a Halloween
what I was
corner?
just gonna say is that Halloween with kids is the
good.
best. Like, it's honestly, it's a holiday where it's actually better when you're past where it's about my kids. You know what I mean?
I'll explain to you when Halloween is the best. When you are a child,
No, I'm
a
telling you
parent,
now.
or
Yeah.
a single college student.
or a personality on an internet-based podcast.
If you find
video
yourself
thing.
if on Halloween you get a bunch of free candy when you have no other way to get it, as a child, incredible day.
Yeah.
As an adult, if you get to see the world through the eyes of your child,
That's true.
incredible day. If you're a hot single looking for another hot single that's dressed either A, sexy, or B,
Very
bloody,
true. Very true.
that's when Halloween reigns supreme.
Wow. Well, a little insight
Sexy
in
or
there.
bloody?
Yeah, you didn't know that.
what
You
you're
didn't know
into?
that. You didn't realize that when women get dressed up for Halloween, they can either go A, sexy, or B, bloody.
I really thought it was just asexy, to be honest.
like as in asexual, asexy.
What's happening?
I haven't caught on to the bloody trend.
Losers
What?
Lounge,
What do you mean you haven't
always
caught
the
on the
medicine
bloody-
you need to get through to get over the loss. So you guys, Harrison's favorite segment, bouncing around the NBA, is coming up.
Around the association.
Around the association. We need an around
Let's
the
go.
association graphic.
Dun-dun-dun-dun,
I'm told by
dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Brendan that no players have spoken yet.
Hell yeah.
Players only meeting, so I'm guessing we probably won't get to our final segment. I'm not going to keep everybody waiting this long. But let's bounce around. The Cavs beat the Hornets. The Cavs, are they for real?
My
4-4.
Cavs.
Your Cavs. They beat the Hornets. LaMelo Ball, 30 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and a loss.
The Cavs are average.
Oh, that's why they are 4-4.
The Cavrage.
They're just so average.
Dude, I'm a goddamn disaster.
Just
today.
chock full of average players. Colin Sexton, Jared Allen.
I do like Evan Mobley though. Like
He is
Yeah, he's
good.
good.
he's
Right
good.
now, he's pretty average,
and he's
though.
young. Yeah, he is pretty average. He'll get there if he
He's
gets
good.
traded.
15 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block for old Mobley. Not too bad.
Old Mobley.
The Pacers finally pick up a win. Oh, man. Let's talk about the Spurs and the Pacers, the same team, the West and the East, right? And they played each other tonight. They're both now at two wins, 131-118. I feel like the Pacers and Spurs are both good, and yet they're 2-5 and 2-6 respectively.
Adam, have you not realized that every team in the NBA is
Every
good
team is
and
good.
sucks?
So the Nuggets definitely
Literally,
very
like,
good.
What was the
When you
final
get
score
mad,
of that
it-
Pacers Spurs game?
What would you guess?
Like 90-90?
Yeah.
131 to 118. Wow, Harrison. Wow, Harrison. Portland
first
Trailblazers
defense.
fall to the 76ers.
Because they're good and they suck.
A battle of two evils here. The Portland Trailblazers moved to 3-4, while the 76ers moved to 5-2. You guys got any, Dev? You got any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, that was
What
a
did
game.
Damian Lillard do?
Lillard's off to an MPJ-esque start. I don't know if anybody, this is going underreported a little bit. MPJ-esque. He had 20 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds. So he had a pretty solid night. 7 of 20.
I would
two of 9 from 3.
What I would do for that line
For
from
Michael
MPJ,
Porter, I know,
I would
that's
do
true.
terrible things.
Yeah, but that's a bad that's a bad loss for Portland. I don't think Embiid played. We already know the Ben Simmons whole thing. They let Andre Drummond.
What's going on with Ben Simmons actually?
Drummond went crazy in that game.
Wait a second. Embiid missed a game already?
So it
Yeah,
looks like,
he's
And they won?
His knee's hurting.
yeah,
stunning.
he's important.
Oh, man.
Ultra important.
I can't imagine Jokic missing a game. And if he
Dude.
did, I can't imagine the Nuggets
I
winning.
will say this:
Against
Nikola
Portland.
Jokic is living rent free in Joel Embiid's head this season
Why do you think that?
because Joel Embiid is making it a point to try to play in every game until he missed tonight because now
he
his
tried.
knee,
He made it 2 weeks.
his knee is now hurt. Like he already had played through knee soreness a couple games ago. Just because he saw Nikola Jokic playing every game win MVP, he desperately wants to win MVP and thinks now the path.
What MVP
towards
is coming
doing
his
that.
way? Go ahead and let it know.
The pity MVP,
The
of
pity
course.
MVP.
He wants the pity MVP.
See, this is if you watch ESPN
And now he's hurt.
or national
You don't get this
broadcasts
analysis.
that talk about the association, very rarely do they get super petty super quickly when discussing the very simple outcomes.
But
of
hey,
games.
Harrison, can't you admit? I mean, it's been so tough for him. Like the Ben Simmons thing. Like it's just like
I mean, just all of this off-court stuff he's
Dude,
had to
nothing but
navigate
so many,
this season.
so much.
The greatest thing is that we have adopted Jokic's enemies as our own. When really, truth be told, Jokic has no enemies.
has no
We're
enemies.
like, Embiid should die, and Rudy Gobert should definitely die.
He's like, I'm friends with all these
Yeah,
guys.
he's like, that was the best man at my wedding.
Yeah, they don't even talk trash.
right. It's like we went out to breakfast and lunch right before the game. It was great.
The Hawks fall to the Wizards, or the Hawks beat the Wizards tonight, 118-111. The Wizards, the best team in the NBA, but they fall. I don't really have any thoughts on this other than Wes Unseld loses a game.
Shout out to the Wizards, man.
Shout
Shout
out
out to the Wizards for not completely bottoming out and playing unwatchable basketball and trading away everyone and being like the Oklahoma City Thunder,
Yet.
who are a disgrace to the NBA. An absolute disgrace are the Oklahoma City Thunder.
All right, here's one that'll lend itself to hot takes. The Chicago Bulls beat the Boston Celtics tonight, 128-114. The Chicago Bulls go to 6-1. The Boston Celtics go to 2-5. Dev, which one of those records is more surprising to you? 2-5 Boston, 6-1 Chicago.
Boston. Just because everyone for some reason thinks that Boston is good and they have
happens
not
every
been.
year.
They actually blow. And it was crazy because going into this game, the Bulls were underdogs somehow. Like you looked at that game, and you're
Wow.
like, Boston hasn't been good all year. It's been kind of like just Jaylen Brown like having hot streaks.
Yeah.
Tatum every now and then, but no one else on Boston is good. Like they just haven't been. And then DeMar DeRozan, like the type of year
Lit
that
him up,
he's gotten onto-
37-7.
He's been lighting
Damn.
that hasn't even been him with that with the Spurs. That wasn't him. He's going back to his Raptor days, so he's playing happy basketball. So that's also like surprising, but just the Boston idea that they're good, they're not.
Go ahead and put that to bed. We always know how Boston is doing because our own Brennan Vogt has a very irrational hatred of Jason Tatum.
He really does.
So anytime Jason Tatum has an inefficient shooting night, we all hear about it,
Which is often.
which it turns out is most games.
Another game, Toronto Raptors beat the New York Knicks tonight, 113-104. They go into the Garden and win. The Raptors' most confusing team ever, man. Like they lose to
Right.
the worst teams, beat the best ones.
I don't think Scotty Barnes played tonight either, right?
He did not. Good call. Good catch. But OG Anunoby did, who put up 36 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists.
Oh, man.
OG Anunoby is on the Jeremy Grant path where it's like we all knew what he was. He's a role player, 3-and-D. And all of a
Right.
sudden it's like maybe he's actually a lead featured role type
Yeah.
guy. Like he's blossoming
Like,
into
is
that.
he going to want to go to the Magic and just be the number one option
Maybe.
after a deep playoff run?
Maybe. I'm telling you,
Gary
man.
Trent went for 26 in that game as well. Like,
Gary Trent Jr., I like him. He
That's
does. He's a
wild.
bit of a chucker, though. He's a bit of a chucker, but
and he chucked.
He did
22
chuck.
shots in the game.
Kem Birch somehow a plus 20 in that game as well.
Can he roll to the rim, Kim Birch?
Can he?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to pick up Kem Birch?
Is he a roller?
Are we really going to go all the way around the association?
There's only one more game
Okay,
here.
I don't think we've ever been all the way
trying
around.
to fill in. Hey guys, yeah, we never got all the way around. I'm told that Jokic is speaking right now, and then Brendan Vogt will come and share. I'm very curious. We made it to the end of the line, so I'm
Okay,
just trying
all
to
right,
buy us
all
a
right.
second
We've made
here.
it this far, guys.
I
Guys,
just want to know like how comfy I should be for how long this trip around the
Yeah,
association
it should
is
be
gonna-
very comfortable right now. The Orlando Magic, Orlando Magic, the Nuggets' G League team, beat Denver's other G League team, the Minnesota Timberwolves, tonight, 115-97. RJ Hampton, 15 minutes, 3 points.
Is RJ Hampton good?
I'm.
Oh, no.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Harrison.
No.
Oh my God! Come on!
How can this guy, this prospect that we heard the Orlando Magic loved in the draft, they loved him. He can only get 15 minutes on the worst team in the league.
Hey, they're not
I
the
thought
worst.
they loved him.
Hey, they got to win in Minnesota. Here's another take. You're right. Hey, I don't want to. Here's what I will say. It's weird that everybody that goes to Orlando busts. Everybody. And everybody
Except
goes
for Mark Fultz.
he's a bust. What are you talking about?
No, he was a bust in
He continued to bust.
Yeah, he just like
Okay.
busted slightly less than he did in Philadelphia. But everybody that goes to Denver hits. So I'm just kind of like, I'm sitting here thinking, like, does he suck? If he was in Denver, I think he'd be phenomenal.
What was Gary Harris's line tonight?
He didn't play.
I was looking
Wow.
up league leaders in plus minus and also the league
Dwellers
low
themselves.
league trailers in plus minus. Jokic leading the league in plus minus. You know who's in the bottom 10 in plus minus? Gary Harris.
Gary Harris.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's he I'm
What are,
Gary
you,
Harris.
what are
man.
you guys doing with your stock?
For Gary Harris?
you
I
guys
sold
have?
mine.
Do you
a
remember
long
he
time
sold
ago.
all of his stock in the preseason, and we wrote him about it all year. And then Gary Harris got traded and has since become terrible. We're stuck with all this goddamn stock.
I know the story of Gary Harris's career is the injuries, but still one of the crazier career arcs that I can remember, man. One of the crazier ones for sure.
Dude, from Mr. Nugget to being
From the next Kawhi Leonard as
That's right.
my-
538, I think.
Chris Herring, who I love and is like
the
a
next
friend.
Kawhi.
He's a great writer.
There's a story that hasn't been
next
told about
Kawhi
Gary
Leonard.
Harris. Something happened there, man. Something happened. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. One of the crazier career arcs
He
I
got,
can
he got
remember.
cursed. But they beat the Timberwolves tonight, guys. And here's the thing. The Timberwolves, they were the darling of the first week and a half. The Nuggets kind of did them dirty, man. Did them dirty with
It's
that
over?
win. I'm just
It's
saying,
over now?
tonight, Karl Anthony Towns, minus 24.
what?
He has not been the same since the first
I'm
quarter
just
of that
saying.
game ended.
And it's funny because he had 23 points,
only been
16 rebounds,
a
6
day
assists
and a
tonight.
half.
He's broken.
23,
It's been a
16,
bad
and
2
6.
days.
And by far the worst on the Timberwolves.
It literally
roster.
happened on Saturday. That we
I'm just saying,
ever
man.
since Saturday. Today's
They,
Monday.
they haven't been the same. He
You have
hasn't.
a for multiple days?
I mean,
I've
who
seen
did he
it.
go up
Yes, you
against
have.
tonight? Mo Bamba?
That's so true. Like, who was he going up against tonight? Jeez.
Kim Birch?
Wendell Carter Jr.
Wagner Carter.
Look, man, it's
The Wagner Bros?
I'm just saying,
One of
like,
them went crazy.
hey, I'm just saying, Yoke did do him kind of dirty in that game,
Yeah.
and like, it meant a lot to Towns. Maybe there's a little bit of a
That was Towns' game 7 of the finals.
Oh my
Towns.
He
This
lost
is Towns' last
in
year in
embarrassing
Minnesota.
fashion.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say.
I mean,
this
I
is
know
last
we're
year.
tap dancing, stalling for time, going around the old association. This
all the
is
way around.
absurd.
You don't want to pile
What
up
you
the
are
Timberwolves?
positing
What
is
about-
completely absurd.
I mean,
sir.
you know
Chad,
what
are you
I
with
think
me?
of the D'Angelo Russell-led Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't need to say anymore.
That's Anthony Edwards' team now.
It is Anthony
Especially
Edwards
when
too.
you watch your king get destroyed like
Oh,
that.
my
When he
God.
gets beat
By
to
Jimmy
sleep
Butler at
like that.
practice?
Yeah.
Oh,
The
actually, we
writing
do
was
have
on
one
the
more.
wall.
We do have one more piece of content here. All the jerseys. If you guys want to get, we had a fantastic conversation in the pregame show about the jerseys. Eric really broke it down. I honestly mean, like, he lit a torch to it.
Yeah.
But you're going to want to watch that. If you're interested in what we think of the jerseys, and in
was on
particular
a
what Eric
heat up.
thinks. Everybody say goodbye to Dev. Dev, thanks for stopping by.
Viewers, you couldn't see Eric try to leave.
I tried
and
to get up, and Dev
No.
locked me down.
Oh gosh. Hey guys, how we doing?
No, we've been stalling for a long time.
Okay.
We actually
We
haven't gotten to the game.
360 degrees around the association.
I've got a whole heap of non-updates, so you guys
Oh,
really.
hell yeah, dude.
Oh, no.
Michael
Give
Malone.
us something good. Come on.
So the Nuggets, Aaron Gordon said that he could tell something was off at shoot-around. The team had a bad shoot-around today, and then they all came together and had a conversation about it. It was really hard to hear the guys today. The audio was really tough. Couldn't even tell what questions were being asked. So
Sick.
Dude,
that
like,
was
what?
fun.
An off shoot-around. Like, shoot-arounds are not that
I know. Yeah, you walk through.
complex.
Yeah.
It's just like shooting drills. You run through some plays.
Maybe they could just tell that no one
Clank, 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 clank,
cared.
clank.
You know, no one was carrying themselves with any sort of like urgency or whatever. But focus and effort was the theme for Malone the whole game. I didn't think we were ready to play, he said. Obviously, they couldn't make a shot, but they haven't been able to make their threes all season. He talked about getting out-rebounded 55-40, pointed that out as a common denominator in the losses or the games where they've struggled to win. Shouted out the Memphis bench. He said, obviously, containing Ja is important, but that's a challenge. The bigger problem was allowing the bench to come in and dominate.
He's just so jealous of a bench.
Yeah. And he says one of the worst feelings as a coach is when you're in search mode, just trying to find the right group.
It's so weird, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Like, keep searching to the same spot. Like, you can't find it. Like, I keep looking for my keys, but they're not in the drawer.
he may have just
What
been
about it in the closet?
That
Let me
quote,
check the drawer again.
The
How about
audio
the
was
closet?
tough tonight. That quote may have actually just been about tonight's rotation and not necessarily the bench. But obviously he felt like he was in search mode one way or another. He said you can't control the makes or the misses, but you can control the effort. Shouted out the assist to turnover ratio as a positive takeaway, but the rebounding, they got dominated in the paint as well. That's another common denominator in where they've struggled and when they've lost. Aaron Gordon called himself out for JJJ's hot start, says he could have been more focused as well. Of course, at least one of those threes was pretty lucky. But on the injury, he said he took a finger to, quote, like the back of my eyeball, end quote.
Ouch.
He says he has some scratches, but the med staff gave him some eye drops. He should be good to go. AG, still chill, still very laid back. No matter,
He's a chill bro.
He was so chill about the eye drops.
Wish he would have been like, the scratch kind of
they're
killed
giving
my
him eye
vibe,
drops?
man.
He showed it
Killed
to
my
us.
He's
vibe.
probably got
They
some.
gave me these eye drops at Visine.
He's probably got some.
Yeah, Jokic on Michael Porter Jr. The bad games are going to come. It happens to everyone. He actually did take the opportunity to compliment Porter for one. Still said he's still a really good shooter, really good scorer, can help us with the rebounding. He's not too worried. On AG's doing a good job attacking the rim, and according to Jokic, he can do it even more. And that's about it, guys. Not a very fruitful availability tonight.
Here's a question that's been put forth in the chat, which
Sure.
I actually think has maybe a little bit of validity to it. Last night was Halloween. Did the Nuggets go out
Trick or treating?
No. Did they go out looking for bloody/sexy?
God.
Were they out on the town for Halloween? You hear
What do you
stuff
think
like
he's talking about here, Vote?
Bloody/sexy.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm trying to piece it all together here.
quickly. I'll catch. Everyone else knows. I'll catch you up quickly. When women.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe Will Barton went out. It is his city, and my
saying,
goodness,
like,
did he look
Will
terrible.
Barton had a really
Like,
bad game. We didn't even mention it today, but
like,
he was
really-
really terrible.
he was really bad.
The true human
Everybody
element.
thinks Will Barton plays well in Memphis. He did play well last time, but now 3 out of his last 4 games in Memphis have been bad.
Wind chimes. Yeah, so he played really, really poorly. By the way, that third quarter stint for the bench was so bad, but a big part of it being so bad was, Will Barton couldn't help them much either. He was pretty bad all night.
could.
So
No, bad all along.
What's this question I'm seeing Malone got about that he's hoping for a better effort Wednesday and a remedy for that, and he said bench them.
Oh, so he just said, he didn't think they were ready to play, and I believe, again, we couldn't hear, there was a follow-up on what do you do when guys aren't ready to play, and he just said bench them.
Okay.
It's noteworthy Austin Rivers didn't play tonight. I mean,
Nope.
It's noteworthy. So
Yeah. I mean, look, we talked about this a little earlier, but Bones kind of got in after that first bench substitution pattern thing.
yeah.
Austin Rivers is clearly out of the rotation now. I don't see him coming back in anytime soon. But I think as the games go on, Bones is going to creep in more towards that first, couple substitutions.
I hope so, man.
Kind
I
of
think it'll
seems
help.
to be maybe like the bridge, right, as they work their way from starters to Barton and bench and back and forth. Like, Bones has been involved, and he's getting some minutes with the starters, so
Bring
that's
him in
encouraging.
a little sooner. That wraps it up for today, guys. I want to remind everybody that's watching right now, you guys are our target audience. We're going to have a second screen for the Wednesday's game, a second screen experience. We're going to be watching along with this brand new platform. It's called Playback, where you can watch the game. So you log in. It looks actually just like this, only instead of the losers lounge at the moment, it would be the Denver Nuggets game. You hear our voices, but you see the game along with us. It's really, really cool. We're going to open it up first to DNVR members. So obviously be on the lookout. I think I'll post the link tomorrow on thednvr.com. You guys can check it out, play around, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for this because I am looking forward to watching the game with you guys. It's going to be a little bit like the list live, where hopefully I'm pointing some things out as we go, having some conversation, having some banter. It should be a really good time. So set your watches. Wednesday, we'll be doing that one.
Let me hold on.
Yeah, hold on.
Let's get on this.
Last
said
time I
Wednesday?
set my watch when I was in 3rd grade.
Siri.
You had a watch in
All right,
third
guys, hit
grade?
the like on the way out. We're going home.
It's a Rolex, probably.